This is crooked. I do not like this shirt. Oh, wait, that's a lot. That's a lot. This week we are reading the entire A Court of Thorns and Roses series. All 2,737 pages of it in 7 days. Guys, I got this set at Christmas time and I've been dying to read it since then. And now I'm putting myself up to the challenge of reading all of these in 1 week. So 2,737 pages. What is that divided by 7? Okay, that's 391 pages minimum per day. That's how my brain has to process this because that's a lot. Obviously, we're gonna start with A Court of Thorns and Roses. And if I stick to my 191 pages, I'm gonna read all of it but this tiny little bit, which is obviously just like the minimum goal. But I honestly have absolutely no idea what these books are about. I like going into books blind, and these books are so popular that I feel like if I don't read them now, I'm gonna start accidentally getting spoilers and things. So I'm gonna read them. I am so excited. This is probably the only week that I will ever be able to read this much in 1 week, because this is my only week of this summer without like working or having a summer class or traveling. So I'm gonna spend the entire week reading. Let's go get into this. I'm excited.
If we could run it, if we could run it back, and do you wonder if we could run it back?
Update number 1. I just got to page 42 or chapter 5, and wow, this book is getting good. This is kind of like the point where the plot is like really like starting to thicken, but the first like 4 chapters didn't feel like background information at all, which I really like. I was really worried about starting a new fantasy series and kind of feeling like I was going to have to really get into the world and really try to decipher all the characters, whatever. Sometimes fantasy is like really intense and it's really hard for me to like get into that when they explain a lot of like background information, and I feel like this book isn't doing that, but also I feel like I haven't sufficient enough background information to where I understand like why they're in this situation. I did kind of guess a little bit of the very beginning of chapter 4. I was like, this is definitely going to happen, like there's no way that it doesn't, and it did. But also I feel like if I could guess it, odds are it wasn't supposed to be like a secret that something was going to happen. But so far I'm really understanding the hype around the series and this author. I don't know if this is young adult or not, but her writing is so easy to read that it's one of those books where I just don't even feel like I'm reading. I don't have to even like think about it. It's so good.
Run it, if we could run it back, and do you wonder if we could run it back?
Okay, I have this much left to read today, so I've gotten a good chunk of the book done. I've gotten a good chunk of the book done, but it is already 7 o'clock and I still have like 200-ish, 220 pages left. I feel like I'm gonna be able to finish it tonight. I'm not 100% sure. Just kind of depends on if I end up getting tired of reading or not. I did start listening to the audiobook a little bit, but I might switch back to reading the actual book because the audiobook isn't like any other normal audiobook I've ever heard. It is very like interactive. It's almost like listening to a movie because they have like background noise, and if it says like she laughed, it won't say she laughs. It'll have like the character laughing, or if it says like he snorted, it'll snort instead of saying he snorted. Sometimes that's really cool and I like that, but sometimes I would wish I was just reading her writing, so I don't know. Also, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, my cat. She just climbed into that basket. Can you see her? Albie. Oh my god. Hi! Anyways, oh my gosh, what I was trying to say. Oh wait, I meant to give an actual update on how I was feeling about this book. I was expecting more action. Why? To be honest, I was for some reason expecting more action. I think I just don't read enough fantasy because I'm not really sure what to expect. But there was some action scenes, so now that I'm thinking about it, I think I just had too high of expectations for the amount of like action scenes that would be in there. But I am liking it so far. I am in love with how she writes. I don't know what it is, but there's just something about how she writes that I'm like so just like in it. You know what I mean? Like I am in it. Like I am in it. Anyways, I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. I'm gonna keep reading and I'll catch up with you later. I forgot to mention that I'm on page 147 in case anyone is like reading along with me or wants to like look back and see where I'm at. I'm on page 284 and I just came on here to say that this is so much like a fairy tale that I'm shocked that I had no idea. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading because hello. It is day 2. Yesterday, I successfully completed my goal of reading 391 pages in a day. Pretty happy with that. I literally have this much of the book left, so I'm gonna finish that today for sure. So I'm gonna sit down right now and finish that. But, oh, hi, yes, just walk in front. That's fine. Anyways, so I'm gonna finish that today and then I'm gonna start the second book as well, but I'm not gonna be super strict about reading that many pages today just because today is Mother's Day, so I feel like I'm not gonna have a crazy amount of time that I can set aside just to read. So I'm gonna read as much as I can, but it probably won't be anywhere near the 400 pages that I should be reading every day.
Could run it back, and do you wonder if we could all of the things I didn't know? I had to get up down the road inside of the same old, caught in the circles round they go.
I just finished A Court of Thorns and Roses. This was good. I rated this a 4 out of 5, but also I was scrolling through Goodreads after and I didn't realize that this is young adult. I had no idea. I just thought that it was like her writing style that made it easy to read, but no, I was wrong. This is young adult. I'm realizing I never talked about what this is about. Basically, Feyre, I think that's how you say it, I'm not really sure. But basically, she kills a wolf in the woods and then she's dragged to like this magical part of the land. I don't know why I can't remember what it's called right now. Oh, Perithian? I think that's what it is. Anyways, she's dragged there and she's basically held captive, and then basically her and her captive, you know, get comfortable with each other and things start to happen. None of that is a spoiler. I read this little synopsis first just to make sure. So if you want to pause and read it, you can. But I went into this not knowing that this is like a fairy tale retelling, and I love that so much. I love fairy tale retelling books. I was expecting this to be a lot more fantasy, but it ended up being like more fantasy romance, which I guess might be better for me since the world of fantasy can sometimes be really hard to get into. But the only reason I didn't rate this a full 5 out of 5 was because the middle, I found it just a little bit lacking for me. There was just a small lull in the middle to where I was like, okay, I'm a little bored and I don't really see what's about to happen. Like, it was just kind of like a plot lull for me. And now I'm about to start the second book. I'm so excited. So now off to read.
I need a breather, get lost in the B-roll, let all the windows.
Okay, I'm on page 36 and I think I have a theory of what happens in this book. So future me is either gonna be like, yeah, that was very wrong, or I'm gonna be very right. And right now I'm thinking I'm right. Is day 3. I'm a little halfway through A Court of Mist and Fury. Ideally, I would finish this book today and then also start A Court of Wings and Ruin. Again, I'm not going to be too crazy strict with myself, but I wanted to give an update. My prediction has yet to happen, but it's going to, I swear. Like, I'm convinced it's going to. I'm pretty sure it does. Because it's a very small little prediction, because the rest of the book so far I have no idea where this is going. going. I'm just in for the ride, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know. I like that though. Like, I like that I don't have an idea of what's about to happen, but that's my only update so far. I am on chapter 29, page 281. So hopefully I can finish this today. That's all my feelings so far. It's not giving me like a wow, crazy wow factor, but like I'm intrigued, I'm in it, I like the characters. Page 474, my prediction happened. Again, I think that part was supposed to be obvious, but I literally knew from the beginning of the book, and it finally happened. Now I can finally stop being like, you know? Anyway, my only other update, my only other thought at the moment is the fact that these books so far have been so much like a mixture of like books that I've loved from my childhood, like Harry Potter, Twilight, Cinder. There were other ones that I was thinking of while I was reading it, and I feel like they're so much like these other books. Like they're all of these books like combined. Like little aspects of each book is in this book. Maybe that's just because they're fantasy. I haven't read a fantasy in a really long time, so that might be part of it. But I'm like, wow, like this is like a bunch of other books combined, I feel like. Or at least it has like elements of those books. Good morning. It is day 4. I overslept today and I'm tired. Like I didn't get up when my alarm went off because I ended up going to a Drive Shack last night, which is like, it's like Topgolf, if you know what I'm talking about. You're like, it's golf on a thing and it's weird. Anyway, I didn't get back until like 12:30 last night or something weird like that, and then I went to bed 1 in the morning. So all of that is basically to say that I overslept. So I did finish A Court of Mist and Fury last night, or technically this morning, and then I also started A Court of Wings and Ruin this morning. So I'm on chapter 5 already. And to be honest, I feel like I read A Court of Mist and Fury too fast for me to be able to rate it right now, because I literally just finished it, and what, it took me like 2 days to read it. I don't even know. It was really quick, I feel like. So I think I'm gonna rate that one later. I'm also thinking about rating these books at the end of the video. If I do decide to do that, the timestamp will be here. There's no timestamp here, you know what that means. Anyways, I feel like I'm like losing it. I need a cup of coffee, and then I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna crank out this book, this beast of a book. It's not that big actually, but it's thick. Oh, it is that big. Yeah, ignore me. It's a honker of a book. Is that the right word? I don't know. Goodbye.
If we could all of the things I didn't know, I had to get out down the road.
Page 123. Faye is such a badass.
Caught in the circles round they go. It's hard when you keep close. Rewind with my eyes closed. I need a breather. Get lost in the B-roll. Let all the window.
Good morning. I think it's day 5. I got a ridiculous amount of reading done yesterday. I only have this little bit left of A Court of Wings and Ruin, and I feel like I'm finally ready to sit down and talk about A Court of Mist and Fury. It took me a long time to gather my thoughts on this book. I don't know what it was. I think I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5 because I liked it, but I just didn't like it as much as the first one. It was just very different than the first book. I kind of felt more bored and I wasn't sure what it was, if it was because I was just trying to read too much or if it was because I just truly didn't like it as much as the first one. But I also think part of it might have been that there was a lot more romance in this one and a lot more smut in this one than the first one. And you know, that's fine. I just was not in the mood for that. I think it's just really like recently I haven't been in the mood for a romance unless it's like a summer beachy romance. I don't know. My tastes seem to have changed a little bit in the romance department. So maybe that's what was wrong with this for me. I'm not sure because it was good. It just was not like, it wasn't there for me. It wasn't like the first one. The first one was so good. Now, A Court of Wings and Ruin. I am on I'm into chapter 70. I'm at an intense part. So far, I honestly am liking this one more than this one. This is giving me what I was in the mood for. It's giving the action, smaller subplots of romance, because the romance is still there. I just feel like it's less like relevant to the storyline, and I think that's what I like when it comes to fantasy romances. I don't know, but this one, oh, I'm like eating this one up. As you can tell, I read most of it in like 1 day, 2 days. No, I guess this is my 3rd day reading this one. I don't know. But I'm definitely gonna finish this one today because I'm so close. Off to read. I just finished chapter 76 and oh my gosh, I wish you guys could have heard the gasp come from my mouth. Literally, like that. Like, I literally jaw dropped. I was like, that's very well a possibility that this could happen, but I didn't think it actually would. And now that it did, like, I don't know how to feel, how to function. I'm confused. I can't really say anything else without giving it away, so I'm not going to, but that was a turn. That was a twist that I was not expecting. Let's just put it that way. Okay. I'm gonna suck it up and I'm gonna finish this book before I have a mental breakdown. Page 671. I knew that was gonna happen, and I wish I said that in my last clip, but I couldn't figure out a way to word it without giving away what happened. But page 671, I knew it. I knew it. Okay, I just finished Court of Mist and Fury. I have a lot of thoughts on this one. I think I shared a good amount of them already, but I literally had to keep a notes tab in my phone. Like, as I was reading, I would jot things down. But I rated this one a 4 out of 5. It was so good. I talked earlier about how I liked the action aspect of it and that it had just a tiny little bit of romance in it, a lot less than the second book did. There's not much I can say about the plot line without spoiling anything, so I'm gonna try to just focus on how I felt towards the book. But I'm like, for some reason, obsessed with Lucian's character. I don't know what it is, but I'm like, I love him. You know what? I think for some reason in my head, I'm picturing him as Legolas from Lord of the Rings, and I think that's part of why I'm like, I love him. There was also a lot of characters in this book, and I just kept getting them confused. Like, I, for some reason, kept getting Feyre's sisters confused. I still couldn't tell you which one's which. Also, this book reminds me of Harry Potter just a little bit, and I think that's part of why I like this book better than the second book. And also, I don't know why, but I was really wanting multiple point of views in this book, which is weird because I don't normally like multiple point of views, so that was just odd for me. But I felt like this book would be like, it would just be so cool, different point of views. And then I already started A Court of Mist and Ruin. Wait, what, Morgan? And then I already started A Court of Frost and Starlight. I only got 1 chapter into this, but it's a pretty short one, so I'm gonna read for the rest of the night and hope that I can get far into this one. I just got this vintage little tennis shirt and I'm actually obsessed with it. This morning I finished A Court of Frost and Starlight. It feels weird to rate this one since it's a novella, so I feel like I'm not going to, but I actually really liked this. I don't know why. You know what? Actually, it might be because I literally was just saying how I wish I had multiple point of views, and this book did not disappoint. Every other chapter was a different point of view, and that's exactly what I felt like I needed, especially between like these two honker of books. Also, I'm slightly nervous because I literally just started A Court of Silver Flames, which is the last book in the series, and she's a honker. This one's a thick one to finish in 2 days. I think I can do it though. I literally am in the middle of chapter 2 right now. So far, really good, really liking it, but again, I just started, so it could go anywhere. I'm pretty much gonna spend all of today reading so that I can make sure I finish this in the next 2 days. I kind of went MIA the past day. It's now my last day of reading. The reason for that was that I realized today I'm driving like 2 hours to go visit a friend, and so I do not have the whole day to read. So I really stepped up the reading game, and now I'm on chapter 58, so this is all I have left. I woke up early this morning so I could keep reading. It is a little past noon right now, and I leave in like 5 hours. So I feel like I should have enough time to go through, get her done. Let's see. How many pages do I have? Like 130 or something like that. Also, have not had any updates because I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about this book. I think I'm just feeling like burnt out after reading so much for a week straight. I'm just like, you know? This is not a spoiler, but I need to know what is up with this house because I feel like it's about to like take over their lives or something because like what is going on? That was what I wrote down like way earlier in the book because earlier in the book I was convinced that like this house would just take over. It'd be like that movie like Haunted House. Is that what it's called? It's kind of like a kid's movie. Whatever. If you know, you know. But right now, what's like really bothering me is that someone has like a medical condition. Again, not spoiling anything. I'm like giving as little details as possible so I don't spoil anything. But again, like it's seriously so small. Anyway, someone has a medical condition that I'm like, is this book supposed to be written in the past? Because like, I don't know anything medical, but I can tell you how to fix this. Like, I'm not a doctor. But even I know how to fix this, at least like in the human world. I'm gonna keep reading and hopefully I will finish this book before I have to go. Let's finish this thing.
It's hard when you keep close. Rewind with my eyes closed. Might need a breather. Get lost in the B-roll. Let all the wind blow to learn how the world goes. We didn't know how to move on. If we could run it, if we could run it back, and do you wonder if we could run it back?
Okay, I just finished A Court of Silver Flames. Honestly, I'd probably rate this a 3. It's kind of on the same level for me as A Court of Mist and Fury. Court of Wings and Ruin was probably my favorite so far. I think I rated that one a 4. Well, okay. I really like that one, but obviously I also really liked the first book. So the first and the third are my favorites, and then the second and the fourth are my least favorites. I think that's just because the amount of romance in the second and fourth book is kind of a lot. There's a lot of smut in those books as well. Also, are these supposed to be young adult? Because like, if my little sisters were reading these, I'd be like, those books, you're too young for them. Like, just no way that this is young adult. I don't have much to say about this other than the fact that a lot of it kind of felt predictable to me. But honestly, I think I was just getting really burnt out with reading these books, but I wanted to be able to finish them in 1 week. And I did. It took me 7 days. I'm just very excited that I finished them all. Honestly, I probably will go back and reread them so that I can kind of like take it in a little bit slower than I did this first round. And I think I'll probably revisit this series once I'm more in a mood to read the romance. I don't know what it is, but like recently I've low-key been a romance hater. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think I would rate this whole series as a whole maybe a 3.75. I'm tempted to give it a 4 out of 5, but these two were too much for me. I gotta stop. I feel like I'm just repeating myself, but if you've read these books, let me know what you think of them in the comments, and let me know if there's another series that I should do this concept in, like reading the whole Harry Potter series in a week, or reading all of Lord of the Rings in a week. Something like that. I would have to limit it though to 4 to 5 books in a series because this was a lot for me. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye!